Hi everyone! First of all, I would like to apologise for the handheld camera. I tried lots of times to set it up so that it was like looking down like this, but I couldn't get it to really work properly. So I thought I'm just going to hold it and see how well I can get that to work. Anyway, I wanted to show you my bullet journal. I kind of looked online and I saw a whole bunch of different ideas, and I've kind of combined a whole bunch together that I thought were really good. I saw a really good idea with someone, I'm really sorry, I can't remember who they are, but where they actually split the journal in half. So they have all of their daily lists and all of that sort of organizational sort of things at the front. And then the second half is full of their other sort of lists they need to do. And then each topic, or at least this bit I've done for myself, each topic has its own coloured washi tape on the end so that you can kind of keep track. And I've also added like little tags as well. And now you'll notice there are some tags at the front. They're for lists like the books I want to read, but ones that will be changing every few months or so. For example, like exercise or big tasks, but I'll go through that in a moment as well. So I'll go through and I'll show you what I've done so far. People always talk about the kind of reward they give if somebody finds this book, and I'm like, I can't. This is a quote by C.S. Lewis that I inked, which was fun. That's a good quote. That's a good name. This is my index. So you see, I've only got a small section for the first daily bit because I'm not gonna put on my index every single day, just each month. So I've got February, March, pardon me, I started at the beginning of February, just so you're aware. Then I've got like my future planner, exercise and that sort of a thing with their page. All the other lists I've actually got organized under the color of the washi tape that I have on the side. And so then they've each got their own little thing. So you'll see they all start with one at the beginning. So I haven't bothered to number every single page, especially since I do sometimes make mistakes. And I have ripped out pages before, not in this book yet, thankfully. And I hope I won't have to, but yeah, so that's my index page. Numbering starts on the next page. So this is my yearly overview. I'll be completely honest with you, I put it in here because I thought it looked pretty, but I've actually used it more than I thought I would. For example, I meet with somebody, I teach them English on Tuesdays, and so she'll be like, oh, you know, are you doing anything in Tuesday in June or something? So I can look here and be like, oh, actually, you know, so these are the dates for June, and I've actually got something on and that sort of a thing. So yeah, this has been, I mean, I don't use it a lot, but I found I've turned to it more often than I thought I would. A lot of people have keys, like especially for the symbols that they use on their actual bullet lists, but I kind of don't see the point of it because this is my book. I've come up with everything, and it's so, at least the one I've got is so simple that I really don't need a key, and so I don't see a point in putting it in because I feel it looks a little bit tacky, but that's completely a personal preference. I have, however, put in a key for the washi tape that I've used for the different themes. So if I'm like, oh, I really want to write a list about something, I can look here and be like, oh, actually I should put that under Japan because I'm living in Japan at the moment. Or hey, that's to do with food, I'll look for food, that sort of a thing. So I mean, I have got the tags on the end, but they're not particularly, I mean, what does that mean? Oh, that means, actually, what color is that? So that kind of boxy thing is bits and bobs. It's a B, not a T. Anyway, so that's what I've got there, just as a kind of, that's what each of the washi tapes mean. Alright, so this is my future planning. I really like how it turned out. I got this kind of spread from somebody on Pinterest, so I'm not actually sure who did it because it had been pinned so many times. The only, I wouldn't say issue, but the only thing that I might change on this is just that I'm running out of room for some of them. So I think next time I do this, I probably won't include the birthdays and the anniversaries and that sort of a thing. I'll just do proper things and get birthdays and anniversaries from my phone rather than putting it in here. This is my first whole month spread, February. Now I kind of sort of made this up on the spot. In my last journal, my practice journal, this bit here took up a complete double page. This, my habit tracker took a complete double page, and so I figured I can put this all in together, and I think it worked really well. every week I have usual appointments every day. So I'm here as a missionary, so I'm not working, but like 3 days a week I help a family with their kids, and 1 day a week I help with language, and then another day a week I help out a guest house. So rather than writing them in every single time, I've just put little colored dots there with a kind of a key here so I can say what it is, not that I need it. But I found that didn't really work, and so actually for the next month, hold on, I changed it. So I didn't bother putting it in, just because I know I'll put in here somewhere if it's cancelled or something like that, but I haven't bothered putting it in. And other things like, for example, the green here means I've got class, but this wasn't really working, so I've actually put the class in and the time of the class, and that actually helps me more in terms of how I go for the day, because the other ones are all day appointments, but class is different and I do other things. So yeah, so the dots didn't work for me because I just ignore them. Yeah, over here I've just done, you know, what to do for next time, if I want to add anything to the next month's, or if I want to take something out. And now one other thing that I've kind of added and made it sort of my own is that you've got your good things and the things you want to do, which you colour in, which is great. But I feel like it's only a little bit of the motivation. I've actually included a section here for the things that I want to stop doing. And so it's that active, it's not just if you don't do something you don't colour it in, because that's sort of ignoring the problem. But actually saying, oh, you know what, I didn't do this, or I did do this bad thing, or something like that, and actually having to say, oh, and having to colour it in. I feel like that's a bit more of a motivation to stop doing something, so that you don't have to colour in the box to admit to it, rather than just leaving it blank, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, that's something I added to my habit tracker. And people are like, oh, I want to stay positive, but you know what, sometimes you need a little push to do the right thing. So that's my February month. In my last bullet journal, I did like most people do, and I had the day, you know, start here, and then that night you write the next day, and you do pretty much 1 day at a time. But I found it really hard to plan ahead for the little things. Like, I mean, I know I've got the, you know, the future planner, but you're not going to put something like bake a cake for Friday in here. So this is for the big stuff. So I found having a whole week made it really easy to say if I'm somewhere on Monday and they're like, oh, by the way, can you bring this on Friday? I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I'll just go to Thursday and I'll be like, oh, pack this in your bag, and that sort of thing. So I find this style really helps me a lot. I've got the glasses of water, which has been really, it does help me. You'll see I stopped doing it a little bit, but I do want to start again. I kind of change the kind of the styles of the glasses, just seeing what works. I've done a few different ones. I think once I even did teacups. Yeah, but then on the side I've got tasks and shopping list. Now these tasks are actually the tasks that I have here. So these, because this is like for the month, I've coloured these ones in, but I didn't get them done here, so I transferred them onto the next week. And then I've got more shopping lists. Like, for example, if I need to buy something here, so the mirror and the whiteout, I actually didn't buy there. And so I put it here. And so I got it the next week. So it means if there's, you know, I'm at home and I'm like, oh, I've run out of this, but it's not till next week that I go to the shops, I can still see what I need. So there you go, there's the the teacups for my glasses of water. Not amazing, but you know. And then I also tried circles. Sometimes, well, that wasn't a particularly good day, but I actually haven't done any time since. There was also this Saturday, I was home all day and I had a whole lot of things to do. And so one thing that actually kind of helped me want to get my list done is actually just drew little pictures next to all of them. Like in Japan, that's the symbol for the post office. The stars and the ones that I've coloured in yellow are kind of the priority things that I need to do. Yeah, so I actually got a lot more done there than I thought I would. And yeah, it was kind of exciting to have the little pictures. It sounds kind of lame, but now the other thing I did this month is I tried doing specific decorations for each day, but I found it's a bit too, you know, too much information, so that when you look at it, it just kind of looks a little bit messy and a bit hard to look at. So I did it this one time and then I stopped. Now this is one of those things in the middle of the book that are going to change. So this is my exercise. It's got, you know, an exercise challenge where, you know, every day you do a different amount. So this particular one is about squats. So first day you start with 10, then 15, until you can do 100 squats in a day. I've got 3 lanes because I really want to do it consecutively, and I'm not the best at exercise. And so, for example, this day I got 10 days in a row, and then I must have stopped doing it or something, and so I just ended up stopping doing it. So I've started again. I'm not doing too badly. It's been day 3, go me. But yeah, so it means if I don't complete it, I've got a 3rd attempt here, in which case if I don't do it all in a row, then it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to push through until I can get to 100. And then once I do that, I'm going to have a whole new exercise page, which is a slightly harder one to do. On the side here, I've got, this is a 4-minute workout that I can just do without any exercise equipment, and a 7-minute one. Because at the moment I'm super unmotivated to do it, but if I think 4 minutes, I really don't have any excuse to not take 4 minutes to do a little bit of exercise. So I'm hoping the more I get it, the more results that I see, the more that I'll actually do. So that's that. And this is a computer game character that really inspires me to exercise, so I got a nice big picture of them. This is a sort of lady monthly tracker, if that makes any sense, which I actually kind of find hilarious that it's the most girly sort of thing you can be tracking, and I've labeled it with a mustache, which I just think is funny. Anyway, so I highlight the days that it happens, and then I put numbers for the painkillers that I take in each day, so I can kind of see. Yeah, I've never tracked it before, so I thought it would be interesting to give it a go. So you can see from the last one, I stopped decorating inside the names. This is this week, by the way. And I've just coloured it in. I'm learning Japanese, and so I've actually written in the Japanese days of the week to try and help me. And actually you'll see that in the first week of March, I've actually gotten rid of English, just to kind of get me to rely on learning what Japanese names are. Yeah, I've been doing really badly with my to-do lists. This is March. I kind of changed something around. What did I change? Okay, so this stayed the same. I really like, generally I'm the kind of person that has to use a ruler and have it perfect. So I did the ruler perfect, and then I actually did it again freehand with pens to kind of give it that, you know, non-perfect look, which I actually really, really like. So I've done that for all of the sections. I moved the habit tracker across and put the to-do list down here. So I won't start filling this in until it actually is March, which will be in a couple of days. And then this is I did some calligraphy for my brother, and this was just like a test one. So I'm like, oh cool, I'll just stick this in. And I did have to say, you're gonna rattle the stars, but I didn't really like it. So I put it on there, and I forgot to cover this up, but I'll probably put a sticker over it or something. And yeah, so I've put on a little line of washi tape for my holiday, put washi tape here and here. This is the first week of March. I haven't finished colouring in all the things, but you see I've already done appointments. So for example, I'm going to be teaching, I'm a guest English teacher here, and I need to do all this preparation. And so I've got to start preparing because I know I've got a day off here, so I can do that. I know I've got church potluck here, so I need to make something. And so this is why I kind of like doing these in advance, because it really helps me kind of plan out my days, and because I'm pretty forgetful. I'm going to be honest with you. And then the last page I've got at the front of the book is my big tasks. And look, these things aren't for my job, so I mean I probably would do a completely different big task page if I was getting paid for these things and stuff, but these are just things that, oh, can you help me out with this, or things that I need to do personally, like for example send a newsletter back home. And it just kind of gives me an idea of, this is the priority, so the really important ones I can see, okay, that's how far through I am, like what do I need to do. So there's, yeah, personal things, there's things for my friends, prepare for English class like you saw before. Yeah, so that's what I have here. That's what one of those little, I love these little tags here. I found it in an art shop here in Japan, and it's just got like little shops and houses and trees, so you have them along the top and you can make like a whole neighborhood, and so you've got, I thought that was cute anyway. Alright, now I'll just show you some of the lists that I've made. So at the top I've got Q for quotes. So church notes, Bible verses and quotes. So this was a quote from one of my pastors at my church. I had an all-day retreat, so these are kind of my notes from the sessions, answers to prayers and stuff. And these are just quotes that I love, most of them from Narnia or Disney movies. So that's all I've done there. Next number is S for stories and creative writing. So the first page I've got names that I like, which I'll hopefully expand, including names. Ideas for different stories or pictures of things I've seen that I might like to use. Don't know what I'll fill that with. Okay, I got a little picture of a carrot for dinner ideas. Now these, obviously it's not recipes, but this is just dinners that I like to make that I don't need a recipe for. And ingredients. So if I'm at the shops and I think, okay, what do I want to make? I'm like, okay, I want to make rice paper rolls. What are some of the things that I need? I can look here because like I said before, I'm a very forgetful person, so it's good to have them accessible. Now there's a lot of pages here. I probably won't put recipes in here unless I'm at someone's house and I have something good and I want a copy of a recipe or something, but I know a lot of people with allergies, so I might put in like food ideas for people with particular allergies or something. J down here, J is for Japan. So useful words that I learn when I'm out and about. I've given 2 pages for that. This is Japan travel, so buses and trains that I take to certain places with times and stuff, because I don't have internet when I'm not at home. I've got a trip coming up. I've got some Australian friends coming to visit me, and we're going to go down to Tokyo, and we're going to go to Disney and do other things like that. So I've just got some information here, things I need to pack, places that we could go, and a small little calendar so that I can kind of see it. So we're going for 2 weeks. And then, oh, that was when I was out, somebody gave me a recommendation for a shop that I need to visit. Okay, so the next one is, it's hard to tell, but it's books, movies, and TV, and music, sorry. So these are books that I want to read. So I've got whether I've read them, so if they're coloured in at all, that means I've started them. The name of the book and the author, as well as who recommended it. So quite often I'll finish a book and I'll need to talk to someone about it. I'll be like, I can't even remember who told me to read the book, so if I put in here who recommended it, I know that I can go and talk to them and say, hey, thanks for recommending the book, or something like that. I've also got a little thing down here about whether I own the book or not. S is for sample, because I have a Kindle, so you can download like the first chapter or something to read it. And if it's kind of red, that means I've got the hard copy, which means it's back in Australia, so I won't be able to read it till later. Books that I've read. I'm a pretty slow reader, so I'm impressed that already by February I've read a book, let's be completely honest. But I also included a rating here, just so I can kind of have an idea of how much I enjoyed the book. I've left this page blank because I don't know, I think I might write like reviews about books if I've read them and I want to say something, or I don't know, I don't know. Maybe favorite book quotes. Okay. Music to buy. So these are albums that I know about. These are bands or artists that I really like what they've brought out before, so to kind of keep an eye on them. So Hans Zimmer is a composer for different like movies and stuff, and then there are other bands. And then karaoke ideas, because in Japan they love karaoke, and there's only there's very random English songs when we do karaoke, so these are some English ones to look up. Movies and TV, so I've got to watch and to rewatch. There are times when I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch something new, I just want to watch something I've seen before, then I'll use this list. Otherwise, if I'm like, okay, I want to try something new. And often in a mood. So often in the mood means pretty much another word for it could just be things that I absolutely love and never get sick of. But when I cook or when I clean, or if I'm doing something really mundane and I want something in the background that I've seen a million times but I still enjoy, it usually takes me like half an hour just to decide on one, because, you know, I look through here and I look on Netflix and I look on YouTube and that sort of a thing. And so this way I've just got them all together and can be like, oh, okay, Harry Potter, I'll go watch that or something. And I've also got audiobooks and music just things that I don't get sick of no matter how many times I watch it or listen to it. Yeah, next one is Bits and Bobs. So this is ideas of what to have in a photo booth. Present ideas for different people. Present ideas for different people. Prayer. So I've got prayer for my family and different things. The A's mean answered. Friends and supporters, myself, and OMF is the mission organization that I'm here with. So just different things with them that I can just pray about if I need to kind of focus what I'm praying about. Okay, and the last little section is, I've called it Correspondence. So it's pretty much about sending things. So I've got my waiting on. So these are like, actually, things that I've ordered online that I'm waiting for, or things that I've sent back home to Australia from Japan, just to see that they got it. I write a lot of letters to my friends back home, but quite often they can sit on my desk gathering dust, and they'll be like, oh, whoops, how long has this been here? So this way I write in the date that it arrived, who it's from, and I actually just straight away write in the address, just so that if I'm out and about and I just happen to go past a post office, I can just be like, oh, I'm just going to pop in and I'm going to send it. So I've got the address here. I carry some stamps with me, and I actually, recently I've been getting a lot of my letters are actually just written on paper, not cards, and so I'll just fold the paper up and put it in this pocket that I just washi taped this in. And so I actually just carry it around with me, and then if if I'm waiting for something, I can go sit in a cafe and I'll just write out a letter, and I've got the letter to have a reference to, and I can just post it off. So I keep that all together. And this was a newsletter idea that I had. At the back, I've got a pen test page. And I used to always be like, oh, why do people have pen tests? It's silly, but I actually really appreciate it because it kind of shows me what goes through and how much it goes through. So I'm loving these pages and how thick they are, and I'm surprised that like even ink and like watercolors and stuff, they actually don't really affect the paper that much. I mean, it doesn't look amazing, you get little dots on them, but it, yeah, works surprisingly well. So yeah, that's my bullet journal. I've been finding it's working really well for me, splitting the whole book up into two. I'm able to kind of focus my attention on what needs to be done. And yeah, that's it. I hope I've been able to maybe inspire you or give you some ideas. Yeah, that's my bullet journal. Thanks very much. Bye.